Welcome to the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception for this third presentation in a series of Lenten talks. I'd like to remind you that the Lenten season is a preparation for Easter, designed especially to help the catechumens who at this point have decided to proceed to receive the sacraments of initiation during the Easter Vigil and have been accepted by their respective bishops. During Lent, the Church tries to help them understand the journey of faith that they have made up to this point. And it does so by using a series of symbols or signs taken from salvation history that can allow them to look at the whole experience from a particular point of view. On the first Sunday of Lent, for example, the suggested symbol was the rainbow, which symbolizes the covenants that God has made with humanity over the centuries. The first covenant would be that which is found in nature and connected with Noah. The second is the Old Testament covenant made through the agency of Moses. And the third and last covenant is that which is embodied by Jesus himself. And so the rainbow covers all three dimensions, and the catechumens are able to see the steps they have made from the first to the second and now to the third covenants. On the second Sunday of Lent, the suggested symbol was the mountain that represents the glory of God, experienced in one way or another at one time or another. But once again, there are three outstanding glories. The first in the Old Testament, experienced first by Abraham and then by Moses and the prophets, oftentimes on a mountain where God's glory is perceived but not controlled. The second experience of glory is that which is used in the gospel for that Sunday, the Transfiguration of Jesus on the mountain, in which he connects with the previous experiences of the Old Testament and points to a greater glory that will come in his own person. And that is the third glory, namely his resurrection from the grave. These three glories can help the catechumens to identify what they have been going through, their sense of the glory of God ever increasing. Today, we use another symbol, the temple or the tent. And that refers to the presence of God to people at various stages of salvation history. Early on in the Old Testament, the presence of God was experienced near a tent that contained the Ark of the Covenant, the chiseled stone containing the 12 commandments, the 10 commandments of Moses were put in that tent. And it reminded the people of the covenant that God had made with them and which they had accepted, of the law that would engage them in their relationship with God in an orderly way. And one of these commandments, which stands out in today's first reading, concerns the Sabbath, an opportunity for people to rest from their work, but also perhaps to gather near that tent and to consult Moses about the exact meaning of the law in any particular detail, how to apply it to themselves. As time went by, in the late Old Testament period, the tent was replaced by a temple built in Jerusalem. And only there, in that temple built of stone, which also contained the Ark of the Covenant, were offered sacrifices taken from the harvest of the land to express the gratitude of the people and their desire for communion with God. In the New Testament, we have the third and best of all God's presences. Jesus, God the Son made man, is the temple. He's the place. He is the offering, the perfect offering that is made to the Father in our name, that makes it possible for us to be in communion with the Father through the Son in the Spirit. In today's Gospel, we see Jesus coming to the Temple of Jerusalem to cleanse it because it had become a place of commerce. And Jesus says, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up," referring to his own body, which would seemingly be destroyed, but be lifted up in glory on the third day. And now, people anywhere, anytime, can come to that temple because it comes to them. They don't have to travel to Jerusalem. The catechumens, looking at their experience of all of this, have discovered the different presences of God in various degrees. And now they will experience the best form of all when, having been plunged into the dying and rising of Jesus, they will be able to offer themselves to the Father with him and receive through the nourishment of his body the wisdom and strength that they need to live in God's presence. Amen.